mistakes, and that'll be just so easy there for Diaz. He's, you can just wait for you to make a mistake and counter.
Okay.
Villa's got to gamble, hasn't he? He's got to find a big punch from somewhere. Whether or not he's got that sort of one-punch power, I'm not too sure. He's not shown it so far.
No, but watch that elbow. Yeah, he don't do that.
With an elbow following through.
Yeah.
Not too sure. He's not shown it so far.
Mira que no nos grabes, nos va a hacer famosas.
Tony Weeks, very experienced referee.
Nomás ese paso se ve. Mira que no nos grabes, nos va a hacer famosas.
Villa needs more of that.
He just missed, didn't he, by half an inch there. Diaz.
Glancing blow.
Yeah, it's good vision there from Diaz. Just enough to move a little bit back.
It came
He's
off.
got a wide stance there, Diaz. He just missed, didn't he, by half an inch there. Diaz. Yeah, it's good vision.
I think before too long, if he gets through this, we're going to be seeing whether or not he's good enough to mix it with the champions. Surely that's going to have to come fairly soon.
Yes.
Well, let's be honest, he goes in an underdog against any of the champions.
Okay, she installed that and she's gonna look for you.
Another big body shot, that left hand, the power shot.
Bye.
See Avila visibly wince when that landed. And he's looking to cover up to make sure he doesn't get a repeat blow in the same place. That's a good right-hand counter. Single shot, though, needs more.
No, I got you, let him up.
To be fair, that is the head of Avila there. He's ducking a little bit low.
No, stop.
Diaz doing the right thing, protecting himself there by holding his elbow over.
There's the body shot again. And he's starting to go to work once more. Avila looking a little bit ragged, although he just clips Diaz with a left hand.
But he fires back enough to keep Diaz honest. But that's all it is, John, right now, isn't it? Diaz is so dominant.
And he's starting to look beaten up, is Avila. Mouth hanging open.
He's enjoying himself now, Joseph Diaz.
Yeah, I don't think Avila's enjoying himself too much, as his mouth's bruised. The eye looks painful as he goes back to his corner at the end of that 8th round. Saul Alvarez doesn't look too stressed, does he?
You'd like to think and hope this was a lot earlier in the night.
The big fight coming up later, the main event. Alvarez against Chavez. Las Vegas is set. Still the fight capital of the world, and there's the arena on the left-hand side of that picture. A great Mexican occasion for the pride of Mexico. New York, that hotel is there. If you ever stay in that, you get the Big Dipper whizzing round outside your window. On we go, 2 rounds remaining.
The problem Avila's got is he's a boxer. So to tell a boxer everything in his body's telling him to use your skills, try to work behind the jab, try and counter punch. And what he needs to do is put his hands on his chin, bite that gum shield, roll the head and just charge forward and try and make a war out of this fight.
He's going to have to stop it now. If he's going to win this one, it's the only way he does it.
But when you've never done that and it's not in your style, it's hard to change mid-fight to do that. It's difficult for him. When the things you're best at don't work, then you're up against it.
Villa caught off balance then, accentuated that right hand. Diaz trying to measure him for a big shot. Here's the opportunity. You heard the corner saying this is the moment you can really step on him.
Stop.
Well, he can, and it would be a sensational finish to close the show. It was what's been a good boxing display. But if you were in his corner, if you were in Diaz's corner right now, you'd be saying, Just keep doing what you're doing. Take your time. He's walking on the shots.
Well, you'd be saying that, but I get the impression they'd like to see something spectacular just to really close the show and get the Las Vegas crowd really talking about him, and that's good. Letting the punches flow there. There was a lovely uppercut, and Avila is hurt and wants to hold on and just buy a few seconds. Can now Diaz really step on him and take him out? He's looking.
What Diaz showed there is that little bit of what you see in a quality fighter, injection of pace. All of a sudden, the hand speed, twice as fast as what we've previously seen. Just exploded into life there, Diaz.
Stop, I got you.
Again, hallmark of quality fighters, isn't it? It's something that De La Hoya was so good at. The man who is now Joseph Diaz's mentor.
No, get off him, stand up, turn around. Here we go.
Is Avila going to be able to dig in and see it through to the end of this 10-rounder now? Can't see any way in the world that he can actually turn this round and win it. Just a question of whether or not he can survive.
Well, he was losing the boxing, the actual boxing match more than the fight, you know, the tactical match earlier in the fight, but now he's the tighter of the two because he's boxing at Diaz's pace, which means he's always going to be second best at this stage of the fight. Diaz looks like he's got loads of energy left.
When the cut came in the 5th round, wasn't it? He had a good 4th round, Avila, then the cut came in the 5th, and since then it's been one-way traffic.
It really has.
And here comes Chavez. We have both men now in the building. He's certainly been talking a good fight. He's had his problems, but is it going to be that he can just get it right here?
Well,
made the weight.
And he looked in good shape, and he's looked in good shape. All the videos that they've been posting online, he's looking tremendous shape. He's been making the weight right, coming down in weight. I think Thursday night he was like a pound over the weight, which is not bad going for a guy who couldn't make light heavyweight a couple of years ago. So this is the biggest fight of his life. I know he's been a world champion, but he's boxing a real star now, Alvarez, and also a Mexican rival, and they don't like each other, so he knows he's going to be at his very, very best.
Las Vegas awaits, the world awaits, as we move onwards with this fight between Jojo Diaz and Manuel Avila, as we move now into the final round. Avila needs a knockout in the blue shorts if he's going to turn this around. He's going looking for him, gambling in the opening seconds of the round. But can he sustain it?
And he's in one of those positions now, isn't he, Avila? Does he go for it? It's the last round. They know he can't win the fight on points. He must know that for sure. But also, you prepare to walk onto a big shot.
Which he did in the 9th round.
Yeah.
And that combination was put together, that hailstorm of punches from Diaz. Just for a moment it looked as though he was going to be put together a sustained attack which potentially would have finished it. But Avila's digging deep here.
Oh, it's lovely there from Diaz. Nice hook to finish. Just a little screw shot there with the right hand to start the combination off, and then finish with a lovely hook. And again, and the impressive thing with Diaz here, John, is he's throwing punches moving in, and he's throwing punches he's moving out, which is very difficult to do, throwing punches moving backwards.
You've been impressed with him in dealing with Manuel Avila, but the question is, can he make that step up to one notch higher? Are we watching here a potential world champion?
Well, I think he's a potential world champion. I wouldn't put him favourite against any of the current world champions. I think Gary Russell, the tremendous hand speed and movement, and struggle there, I think. Santa Cruz at the work rate. Selby, though, just fast hands, tricky, awkward style, good movement. And Valdez as well, Valdez really stepped up in his last fight, Oscar Valdez. Good power, and I think that's probably the most enjoyable fight would be them two.
But he's done well here tonight.
Oh, he's been very, for me, very impressive. So great boxing skills, good variety in his work, and patience is what you need as well at the top level.
Doubling up on the jab there, target practice again as he looks for the head of Avila, who gave it a big effort in the opening minute and a half of this final round. But he's kind of blown out now, and it's just Diaz who's turning on the style in the closing seconds of a fight which, by and large, he has dominated from the outset.
The only criticism you could have of Diaz is, does he have that power that you need at the highest level?
Good performance, though, and he knows that he's done enough to win it. And there's the final bell. Mark of respect between the two. But Joseph Diaz Jr. knows that he has won that fight and produced a pretty accomplished display in the process.
He finished that fight there, and that really told the tale of the fight. He took a little half a step back, made Avila fall short through a nice little 1-2. And he did that all night. He had a better judgment of distance, better timing, faster hand, better vision, just an all-round better fighter in general, really, than Avila, who tried in the earlier rounds. As you said, once that cut came out over the eye, he sort of lost his way a little bit, and Diaz was always going to win, it seemed.
He was always going to win, but it was a shame, wasn't it? Because it just came at a point where Avila had battled his way back in, and it looked as though it was starting to get interesting. Then the cut came, and it was he kind of got lost concentration maybe for a round or so, and then it was gone.
Well, when Avila got on the balls with his feet and went in and out and started throwing pushing combinations, he had a bit more success. Wasn't enough to win the round. He was being competitive. Apart from that, then he was resigned to just landing a few shots in each round just to keep Diaz honest. But Diaz, took his time, didn't rush his work, looked really good, and a world title fight now. In his next fight, he should be there. He's ready. He deserves the opportunity. Diaz, whether he wins a world title, he's at a weight where all the champions are pretty impressive right now. So time is everything in sport, John. And sometimes you come across a division which is just spoiled for really, really good champions. And I think the featherweight division is that at the moment.
It is a very strong division indeed, but that's 24 wins out of 24 now for Diaz. Avila there. Well, he's tasting defeat for the first time in his career after 22 undefeated. And questionably, though, this man is about to be announced as the winner. Here we go.
After 10 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards. Bert Clemens scores it 100-90. Max DeLuca and Ricardo Ocasio score it 99-91. All three scores go to the winner by unanimous decision, and he is still champion Jojo Diaz Jr.
Champion of the NABF. That's the belt he has at the moment, but maybe an opportunity for one of the really big belts is coming after that. An impressive win for Jojo Diaz.
Keep it going, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, John. As near as doesn't matter to a complete shutout. How taken were you with that, Richie? Is that what he needed at this stage in his career?
Maybe so, but deep down he'll probably be a little disappointed he hasn't actually stopped his opponent, because it was one-way traffic at one point. However, it's very difficult to stop a man and knock a man out who's totally on the back foot all of the time. I think Avila thought about staying back to actually catch his opponent coming in. But, however, he has got a few flaws, as Mr. Diaz. Occasionally, he's throwing that left hand and his left leg's coming forward and he comes square on. So he's got to cut that out.
Is there a theory that perhaps he's been converted at some point?
Well, this is it. We were speaking about it before. You see, a converted southpaw who's been an orthodox at some point tends to, when they're throwing that left hand, his left leg will come round and he'll come more square on. Especially if he misses the target, that tends to happen with a converted southpaw. So he might have been an orthodox boxer at some stage, but a cracking talent, Paul, at the end of the day.
I am struggling really to pick holes in it, Steve. We're talking also about the amateur grouping that he came through.
Yeah.
It's star-studded all the way. He's always been tested hard, hasn't he?
As a baby in Baku, Azerbaijan, the World Championships 2011, late 2011, that's when, of course, Anthony Joshua got the silver medal. And he was 18 years of age there. And he actually beat Valdez, who's the Mexican, the WBO champion. He beat him there and then lost to Alvarez, obviously not Saul Canelo Alvarez, the Cuban. Then he lost to Cuban again at the London Olympics. And the London Olympics, the loss to the Cuban, was close. It was tight. It was hard. He was a baby then. He's a good fighter. In fact, that whole school of 2012, all those 8 Americans who we thought were absolute, let's get it right, they were garbage. Errol Spence was the best, and he was
so
lucky.
we thought.
No, they were. Paul, they were the, you know, honestly, if you got an American, you rubbed your hands together. It was like getting someone from Denmark or Norway or the Isle of Man. It was beautiful. They were absolute garbage in London. And as pros, what a squad of 8 they are.
And where's he going now?
Well, he's going to fight one of those guys that we just mentioned there. But this division is stacked featherweights. If it's not the best division, it's neck and neck with the welters. He's got to fight one of them. Whether he goes for Valdez, his old foe, because that would really work well. That could be Cinco de Mayo fight next year. Whether he pushes for Selby, whether they try and get him Frampton will take it. Frampton will take that fight. It's what they want to do with him. Me personally, I'd give him another 10-rounder. I want to see a little bit more, my gut feeling.
Me too. But as promised tonight, here on Fight Night Live, quality all the way. Lucas Matisse returns to the ring very shortly. And, of course, at the top of the bill tonight, it is Canelo Alvarez. We've had a little glimpse of him, and we'll talk about him in more detail after the break. The big build-up to the Chavez Jr. showdown. But what is his plan tonight as he seeks greatness?
Celebrations will be long and loud and no doubt raucous.
From playing in a park in North London to European champions.
It's football heaven at Wembley, at the National Stadium.
This is what you dream of as a young player, playing in the European final.
Into the history books they go.
Cue delirium at Wembley.
The celebrations are about to begin.
Not a single moment goes by when I cannot immerse myself entirely in sport. I can shout and scream in 100 different stadiums, all at the same time. I am a member of the world's favourite online sports betting company, and I gamble responsibly at Bet365.
Any guy can catch a ride, but only you can take me on a journey. You got something. Own it and smell great with new Lynx U, a unique masculine fragrance.
The Eve mattress with next-generation memory foam. Thank you, Trustpilot, for the 5-star reviews. Eve. Order online at evemattress.co.uk.
Leo Vegas have more mobile casino games than anyone else, so they needed 2 brand ambassadors. It means you can promote 2 games at once. Oh, sorry. Play the Rainbow Riches game. He's got me on reels, but I've got a rainbow. It's 2 ads in one. It's Double Vegas! Go! No, sorry. Double logo. Yes. Oh.
A few days ago, Nick had back pain. He struggled to bend, jump, or crawl. I don't believe it. What happened?
Voltarol provides up to 3 times more effective pain relief than non-medicated gel. The triple effect of Voltarol relieves pain at source, reduces inflammation, helps speed up recovery. Voltarol, the joy of movement.
This programme contains flashing images.
On we go. Lucas Matisse back in action tonight against Emmanuel Taylor, heading straight back to Barry Jones and John Rawling.
A 10-rounder, and fascinating to see Lucas Matisse back in the ring. First time he's fought since being knocked out in 10 by Victor Postol back in October 2015. He says he's back and he's ready to show that he's still a real force in this welterweight division. Well, we'll see.
It's a hard fight to come back to as well, John. This is really, Taylor's a good, accomplished fighter, strong, tough, and will fire back. But Matisse is one of the most devastating punchers in world boxing, without a doubt.
He's certainly an intimidating-looking sort of character, isn't he? He's quite a cool, reserved customer. Outside the ring, in the ring, he does all his talking with his punch power.
He does, and he's been in some good fights, and he's beat some good fighters as well. But he has been crude in previous fights. And I think they've been working on more of his skills, with more intelligence in his work.
He says he'd like a fight against Keith Thurman or against Danny Garcia, a rematch against Garcia. Garcia beat him on points a year or two back.
Well, that was probably Garcia's last really good win.
Emmanuel Taylor says he's got Matisse at the right time and he's ready to upset all those plans.
And that could be the case. As you said, he's been out for a long time, and we'll have to see what he has left tonight, Matisse. You know, he's 34, he's had a long career, accomplished career, but you know, it takes his toll. You can't keep dipping into the well.
Well, Matisse, never the hardest person to get to. Victor Postol certainly did get to him, didn't he? Smashed his eye socket. It was a really nasty injury. He was talking about coming back at an earlier stage, but wasn't able to do so because it took so long to recover from that. That tremendous battle with Ruslan Provodnikov a year or two back as well. That was a great fight.
Fantastic fight. But a fight made for Matisse. Provodnikov is right in front of you. You know what you're going to get. Nice left hook there from Matisse. Taylor's one of these fighters who's a nice high guard, and he blocks and counters with the same hand as Taylor, which will work. Just got to be careful with Matisse. If Matisse doubles up with the same hand, he has no power in either hand.
Taylor a decent record. You can see he's slightly the taller man, got a slight height advantage, although according to our statistics Matisse has the longer reach. He's got a decent record, but it's kind of a record which suggests that when he's moved up to the real top level, oh, that's a good shot from Matisse. Right hand catches him on the temple, and just for a moment it looked as though he was going to go, and that bell couldn't come a moment too soon for Emmanuel Taylor. Matisse dangerous. This was a previous fight when he fought Victor Postol.
Well, he'd rather be in this fight than that fight, I'm pretty sure, Matisse.
Well, let's take a look again at when he catches him. Bang! That's a good shot.
It's a good shot, good timing, slips the punch, and Taylor there, you know, they're not bringing the hand back up. You know, when you have a nice relaxed style punching from your chest or your waist, the punch comes back to that. That's the last thing for all kids. The fundamentals, you punch from a high guard, and it comes back to a high guard. He just got caught there, lazy jab. Matisse timed it lovely.
Somewhere around the temple, I think, wasn't it? So just for a moment, I thought he was going to go.
The thing with Matisse, he can hit you anywhere above the shoulders, and you're liable to be wobbly legged or on the floor. He carries tremendous power.
Well, Taylor looking as though he's recovered okay. We'll see in the next 3 minutes, because Matisse is now going looking for him. He's looking to detonate that huge right hand again. 34 knockout wins and his 37 victories, Matisse. That's a statistic that tells its own story. Genuinely heavy-handed.
It is, and especially when you're talking about light welterweights, which is where most of his fights have occurred.
Solid left hook there. Partially blocked by Taylor, but Matisse senses that he might have got him going again.
And that's the problem with Taylor, is he likes to block punches. He uses his elbows, his shoulders, and his high guard quite effectively. But against Matisse, that might not be a wise move. You've got to use your legs. And Matisse, you've got to keep moving away from the power.
Taylor thought, or maybe hoped, that Matisse was a faded force.
And he might be John, but what you never lose, or the last thing to go, as they say, is your power.
That missed by a whisker. And there are oohs and ahs around the arena, because they sense that something spectacular could come at any moment from the Argentine fighter. Big right hand again, he's really loading up.
And you know what the power's done here? It's made Taylor stop throwing. Or when he's throwing, he's very tentative, and his hands go, you see there. And you've got to be careful there, because that's where they get timed with lazy punches.
Only halfway through, just over this second round. Taylor clipped with a terrific right hand in the closing stages of the first, and the second round so far has been pretty much dominated by Matisse as he looks for more heavy shots.
Nice little left hook there, just previously with that little combination there from Taylor. Oh, nice uppercut from Matisse, then the right hand to follow through. And just the weight in the punches is just leagues different to Taylor's.
Has Taylor just weathered the storm, though? Can he box his way back into it and start to throw his punches with a little more authority?
Well, he has to commit himself. Once he throws, you've got to commit yourself. The last thing you do with a punch like Matisse is throw half-heartedly.
And here comes Matisse again, big headshot, uppercut. He almost went with that. Somehow, Taylor manages to stay upright. There was a big uppercut which rattled his jaw.
Did very well there, because that uppercut was a beautiful shot. Didn't see it, rocked the head back, dipped the knees.
Showing that he's got a good chin, Emmanuel Taylor.
And good survival instincts, just to roll on the ropes. Good little footwork there from the Taylor.
Done well to get through that, Barry.
Yeah, he's shown some cute little skills, survival skills there, Taylor.
Another good round from Lucas Matisse. A dangerous man he is.
And it's solid, consistent pressure as well, isn't it, off Matisse? Even when he's not landing with punches, he's using that front foot just to put Taylor under pressure.
Okay, dime cómo te sientes. ¿Te sientes bien? Okay.
You're not touching power already. Hey, you done touched the power already. Box, man. Be smart, man. You gotta dig deep now. It's mental. It's mental. I'm here. Yeah. Hey.
Box and be smart. It's easier said than done when you've got the sort of punches raining in on you that this fella's been producing.
Well, they say it's mental, but it's physical when he's punching you in the chin, John, that's for sure. It's all physical when you're getting hurt.
Joel Diaz, a trainer who's worked with Timothy Bradley and Abner Mares. He did well to stay up from that lot.
Yeah, just after that little left uppercut there, just tipping the legs there of Taylor, and he did very well to survive. And then sort of goes boxing together a little bit there in the last sort of 20 seconds of the round.
First two rounds for Matisse.
Clash of heads there.
And he's saying it's a headbutt.
It's not the first time this has happened to Matisse in his career.
With a headbutt, I want you to look at it. You go over there.
Bringing the doctor in to have a look.
It's accidental, but it's Matisse, because he comes forward, he leans forward.
Okay, all right.
And so even though he's throwing the punches, his head comes too far forward. And it's happened in previous fights where he's been cut in that same situation.
Go back there.
Well, if it is cut, it doesn't look as though it's a serious one. Onwards we go with the action.
But it hurt him. Matisse, he's the one who stood back and holding his eye.
Well, you heard for yourself what the referee's saying. You're holding him.
And you're turning your head. No, he's aiming for the target then, the TC.
Matisse wings in those big hooks, those power shots, and catches him again. And again. Again, the chin of being tested. Big body attack, the shoulder goes in as well, and again the bell comes just in time at the end of what had been a good round for Emmanuel Taylor, but then that huge attack from Matisse.
Again, Taylor's having a good round, but none of his punches really have much purchase on him. You know, he's tapping the target and moving. And then when Matisse walks him down, lets his hands go, all the quality comes from him.
So how did you score that one?
I did, yeah. I was edging toward Taylor there, and it was a close round. I think the last sort of 30 seconds of the round there, Matisse just took over there again. But a closer round for Taylor, and he was doing quite well. And he's boxed quite well in patches also, Taylor, in little pockets.
Well, if Matisse is going to run out of gas, you'd expect it to be coming fairly soon. Look at that, great shot.
But Taylor showing a good chin. He landed with a solid jab just before that as well, did Lucas Matisse, and Taylor took it very, very well.
Box.
On we go into the 5th round, 10-round contest made at welterweight. Big punching Lucas Matisse. In the blue and white of Argentina, he is ahead and well ahead. Had his man down in the 3rd round.
It's lovely there from Taylor. Lovely little right hand.
No. Stop! Thank you. Box.
You could have heard that up in the bleachers. Jay Nady bellowing his instructions, and then a polite little thank you.
Nice there from Taylor as well, doubling up with the left hand. Again, having another good start to the round here, Emmanuel Taylor. There's not much weight on the shots, but they're good clean punches.
You sometimes say in commentary that you like to see fighters commit to the punch. I don't think you see many who commit to it more wholeheartedly than Lucas Matisse. When he throws, he really does.
Oh yeah, he leaves nothing behind, that's for sure, when he lets his hands go.
But is he going to find the distance a problem? Has Emmanuel Taylor weathered the storm, and will the closing rounds be his territory?
Lovely jab, and then a lovely hook there from Matisse again. He really steps behind that left jab.
Solid body shots again. Power hooks, and he's gone. He's this time.
with a nice little left hook. The actual best punch of the contest for me was the left uppercut before in the previous round. A superb punch. And yeah, he knows time's running out, so he's got to get a move on. But he could be a threat at welter.
It seemed like the ideal opponent, really, Steve, didn't it?
It's a great opponent because he loses, Taylor, but he loses on points. So Brono on points, 10 rounds. Algieri on points, 10 rounds. Suddenly, Lucas Matisse gets in there. And apart from that odd moment in the third when he ran backwards after a clash of heads, which is there's always an asterisk attached to him, apart from that, it was a flawless, brilliant performance. And as a welterweight, I still don't think he's a welterweight.
No.
Because what he's done that classic thing that Mexican and South Americans do, is they've just put on a few pounds around their belly. That doesn't make you a welterweight, that makes you a bit fat.
No, point taken, and I did look closely at that, and there did seem some evidence for that, but in terms of his general sharpness, it was all there. And
he hasn't lost anything.
And we also saw enough that he had not gone soft underneath either.
You've got to remember as well, he'd been out for about 18 or 19 months before this.
Didn't show, did it?
No, it didn't. His opponent there makes a terrible mistake in hesitating with the right hand, then walks onto it. But there's that left uppercut.
Lucky it was in his throat, not his chin.
Yeah, exactly, Steve. Good couple of right hands and a left hook there. Let's have a look at it here. He switches the attack from body to head, goes to the body there. That's a cuffing punch. Nothing there, but there's a left hook coming up. Watch this one. That's the one there. Then there's two choppy right hands and a left hook to finish
I think the final left hook's the shot.
Yeah,
because he's down. He seems to slump after that last shot.
And whether or not, Steve, you say he's a genuine...
He's a welterweight, though. Don't worry now.
The thing is this. He stops people. That stoppage, 35 in 38.
He's dangerous, yeah.
And people want him. You look at that whole list. We're talking about featherweights 10 minutes ago after Diaz's brilliant win. And we said that division's possibly the deepest, as they say in America. And we like that division, don't get me wrong, especially because we've got a few Brits involved. But the welters, where we've also got a couple of Brits involved, Amir Khan and Kell Brook, that's the second best division.
Professional record, 35 victories, including 20. Wins by knockout with 4 defeats. The Chihuahua Mexico, Marco Dorado Reyes. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing black with gold. His official weight, 163 pounds, and his professional record outstanding at 30.
Sometimes the opponent forget about the head and worry about the body shot, then you can catch them with an easier head shot.
Right hand. Just missing with a straight right hand, now popping Reyes a couple times with the right. Early in his career, Lemieux was more or less typecast as a big-time right-hand puncher, and then over time he developed the left hook. I actually think
That right uppercut there, Reyes.
Reyes says the Mexican crowd will inspire him. You'll need some inspiration if Lemieux starts to really land the heavy artillery.
Just let his hands go there, Reyes, but nothing on the punches, and Lemieux was happy just to take him on the gloves. And I think he'd be happy to let Reyes throw. If they're the weight of the punch that Reyes is going to throw all night, Lemieux
Right hand by Lemieux. Massive shots to the body with both hands.
Oh, great job remembering to go to the
blood pouring down the right side of Reyes' face.
And Reyes just went for it all on that right hand, Jim.
Oh, might as well. Lemieux just went for all of it with the right hand and does it again. Snaps Reyes' head up with an uppercut. Reyes has taken some hellacious punishment in this round.
He is.
This performance so far is pretty clear. Lemieux is not practicing the things that will make him a better fighter. He's worried about putting on the kind of performance that will have people clamoring for him to fight Canelo should Canelo win tonight.
Oh, good body shot.
Wilson with only one career heat win. Round. Did he do enough to win it?
I don't think so, John. But he's shown a tremendous chin, really has Reyes so far.
The minutes are ticking down. The next fight is the main event. The super middleweight showdown, Canelo Alvarez and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Very much for the pride of Mexico. The T-Mobile Arena is absolutely packed, not a spare seat in the place. Huge pay-per-view audience across the United States. And that is the punch from Lemieux. How did he stay up?
There's been a few like that, and he's really shown to be really stubborn. And I think Lemieux's still got plenty of energy. He fights like this all the time. He always loads up, so I think he's going
a smile on his face. Much as to say, well, having in moments now, but it's coming back in a moment.
his foot off the gas a bit here, Lemieux.
He's switched off a touch. Is he going to be able to produce a big finish, find something eye-catching in the remaining 20 seconds? Been a Reyes round, this.
Yeah, most definitely. And he has boxed well, but you tend to feel it's more that Lemieux's just relaxed a little bit more. Maybe taking a round off, needs a bit of a rest. The way he fights, he probably needs to take a few rest rounds in between.
Well, was that just a breather, or is that an important moment in the fight? Reyes holds his arm aloft, which pleases the Mexican fans.
Well, you know, he could easily be two rounds on the spin, though, possibly. Not for me, but you can see that.
C'est à toi tes deux options. C'est à toi du jab, mais aussi ton lead right. Tu le faisais bien au début du combat. Lead right,
Mark
après ça, t'es en
Ramsey,
position de plus près pour lui faire
the
mal.
trainer
Okay?
there.
Juste dans tes approches.
I wonder if he pronounces his name David Lemieux. I suspect he might. I think it's French-speaking city outside France, is Montreal.
Yes.
Tu fais comme il faut. On reste allumé, OK? En dessous des coups de poing, en dessous. Les mains hautes, under. Et après, on essaie de revenir. Fais attention avec
Biggest French-speaking city outside Paris.
Toute seule, out of nowhere. Set up les avec le jab.
You know so much, John.
Come on, Lemieux.
So clever.
So much rubbish up there in my mind. Well, that was a big effort from Reyes in the last round. And Lemieux, having had him down in the third round, Reyes, well, on our card anyway, clearly taking that fifth round into the second half of the fight.
Here's Lemieux now. Back to doing what he does best, come forward, putting pressure on you, using that front foot. And loading up with the right hand. Predictable, but effective.
Good from Reyes.
Again, he made him miss, made him pay. And they were slaps, really. But if he feints with that front foot, and he'll draw the lead every time on the move, and that's when he can counter him.
He's done well to see it through to this stage. He's absorbed some tremendous shots.
You can hear Mark Ramsey every now and again saying, you know, in a little bit of broken English, saying step right. Just get on the outside of the jab, that is, to get that right hand over the top for Lemieux.
Well, again, not a lot coming from Lemieux so far in this round. The good right hand from Reyes and the left hook, swinging shots, both connected. Is he just starting to gas?
It looks like it does it. You see it taking a round off, and he come out this round a little bit sharper, but then slowed up a little bit, and Reyes has got his boxing together.
Put an awful lot into those early rounds, did the Canadian. Reyes maybe has weathered the storm for now.
Especially that third round, you know, when he had him down and hurt, and he really went for the finish, did the move.
Gum shields out again, and he holds on. Now, was that involuntary?
Well, the jab hit it out, but it looked like he. Let's go, rest quick. Looked like me. Very hard to upset again.
He seems to have lost his. I mean, he's never exactly Never exactly a man who relies on rhythm, is he? But he just seems to have just lost what he does have for the moment.
Well, I was going to say exactly the same thing. More importantly, Reyes has found his rhythm. And Lemieux needs to get right on that front foot now. He's really put pressure on him, get closer to the tag and let his hands go.
He's trying to walk him down, trying to get in range to land a right hand, which he duly does.
Shown a tremendous chin though, Reyes there, because he really felt that punch.
Tough man. Good jab.
Oh, great left hook, that hurt
And the
him.
uppercut, and it's Reyes who holds on, but he takes the shot once again.
Okay, the break. Okay, let's go.
He knew what he was doing there. He didn't want to break. He wanted the extra second or two, just while the head cleared. But here comes Lemieux once more, and again, Reyes just holding on.
He certainly knows how to survive here, Reyes, but he's getting caught with some big shots.
Lemieux back landing heavy punches in this 7th round. Left hand this time again. And his face is looking worse and worse, Marcus Reyes. How many more of these huge headshots can he take? It's becoming a little bit uncomfortable to watch at times. Reyes, who had 2 good rounds, but it's now the initiative back with the Canadian.
He's doing the right thing there, the Reyes. He's moving away from that left hook. Good shot.
He's in survival mode, Reyes.
And it looked all over for him in the 3rd round, and even the start of this round again.
He is a tough man. Took some mighty headshots in this round, but he's seen it through. Right hand landed after the bell. Well, the rot, if it was one, it seems to have been well and truly halted.
Yeah, he turned the tide back in his favour there, Lemieux. And Reyes looks very tired in the corner now, rightly so. He's done so well, just that one to survive and one to nick a couple of rounds as well. Off David Lemieux, but now Lemieux needs to come up the next round now, all guns blazing, because I think Reyes is starting to tire, and the will might not be enough now. He might fold.
More combinations, more movement, they're saying.
He's been doing what they've been asking. To be fair, he's been following the instructions of his corner. He has been throwing more punches. He has been moving as well as he can.
Not been able to stop the bleeding from that cut above the right eye, on the side of the head. And Reyes does not paint a pretty picture at the moment. He's shown huge fortitude, Reyes, to stay in there. Oh, another massive right hand, and Reyes wants to hold on, caught by an uppercut, bullied back across the ring, but still he stays upright. Lemieux going to work at the body, and still the Mexican will not go.
And he knows what to hold on as well, the Mexican, all that experience there, just doing the right things to survive. Lemieux just gets a little bit too close. Good little combination there from Reyes.
And that's what the corner were wanting. Brave man.
Oh, lovely there. Just, oh, it might have hurt his hand there. Lemieux there with that left hook. Just a little shake of the hand after to the left hook.
And then did you hear the whoop from Reyes as much as to say, yeah, you landed, but I'm still here. How about this? How about this?
Just keep an eye on the left hand there of Lemieux, see if he uses it. No, because
Lemieux waving Reyes in, and the Mexican only too happy to oblige. Oh, goodness. Massive right hand that was from Lemieux, which whistled through thin air, but that one didn't.
The last thing Lemieux wants to do is start dropping his hands.
Reyes has got a fair number of stoppage wins himself. He's not a puncher of the sort of dimension of Lemieux, but he is not a slouch.
It doesn't look like he carries any power, though, to be fair. You know, I don't think. Well, right hand there, you know, it's a decent right hand from range. When he throws it, when he gets to the end of it, it's a decent little shot. But I don't think he got any power to trouble Lemieux.
But we're getting into the stage of the fight when both men are going to be dog-tired.
Well, fatigue starts to play a part for sure.
Chants from the rival fans and chants of Mexico, Mexico as well from the Reyes supporters. There'll be plenty of that when we get to the main event, which is coming up after this one. Well, hello, hello. Punches after the round ended.
Go there. David, put him over there. You, go over there.
Well, they've gone to the wrong corner, the two fighters.
I think he's going to take a point from either one.
Come here.
Now, what's he going to do here, the referee?
1 point.
He's taking a point from... Good entertainment. Leave the main event tonight.
Well, what Reyes has done here tonight, he's shown tremendous resilience. He's also done himself up with some work in the future because he's one of those opponents who's beatable. Well, it was Reyes who was the first one to punch after the bell, and Lemieux just obviously reacting to that.
Robert Bird taking the action of deducting a point from Marcus Reyes, so that would have been a 10-8 round.
Yeah, that makes it massive now, though, huge. Oh, nice left hook there for Lemieux.
Reyes is going to win this, he's got to knock him out.
But the chin, we all know how Lemieux can hit, and he does have, and it's not accumulation of punches with David Lemieux, he has that one punch power, and the chin of Reyes has been tremendous, really has.
He's kind of made a huge effort here. He's lost 3 of his last 6 fights. He was stopped by Elvin Ayala. Ayala was knocked out by Lemieux in 1 round. But he's shown he's a very, very tough man.
Remember, this for Lemieux is just a mark time fight, just a fight to keep busy. This is, for motivation purposes, this is a fight that he can't get up for, I would imagine. And certainly that'll be the excuse why he didn't get rid of him early, I'm pretty sure of that. But for Reyes, this is his world title fight. This shot puts him in the spot. It's a big occasion. It's a massive arena. The chief support of a huge fight.
Lemieux just looked to me as though he punched himself out a little after that massive onslaught in the 3rd round. And he's kind of paid the price for that a little.
He loads up with everything, nothing's smooth. Like when Golovkin throws his punches, it's all rhythmic. It's all body mechanics. He turns on the waist. He never tenses up with his shots. But with Lemieux, it's all, everything's tense and hard. He throws everything with intent. That takes a lot of energy.
He's having to absorb a few though, Lemieux. His chin's been tested as well, as this time Reyes wants to hold on as he walks straight into another right hand.
I've got to say though, that Reyes has got away with a lot of holding as well tonight. He's done the right thing to hold to survive, you know, but it's the referee's job to...
Well, he can get away with it.
But you can't keep warning a guy in the end, you have to give him a proper warning. Nice little right hand there from Reyes. He's been competitive. That's what he's been, John. You've got to be honest.
A phrase you use. He's kept him honest, hasn't he?
Yeah, he really has.
It's been a proper contest.
And exposed the frailties in the technique of Lemieux.
Caught again by that right-hand lead. Canadian David Lemieux and Marcus Reyes of Mexico. Lemieux, more big shots, huge left hand, following the left, following the right, 2 headshots, and somehow once more Reyes stays upright. How many has he taken?
Lemieux must be thinking, what have I got to do to put this fella on his back and keep him there? He's hit him with absolutely everything. Everything that would put any other fighter down, almost any other fighter down, that we've seen in the past. And what on paper seemed to be looked like an easy fight for Lemieux, really a fight really to look like the setup a fight with the winner of Alvarez and Chavez, but it's going to be a clear win on punch, you would feel, but a hard night's work for Lemieux.
And here comes Reyes. Big effort from the Mexican, and the crowd is rising to him. He has taken everything that Lemieux has thrown at him and still is trying to force the fight.
Oh, it's good there.
Work.
Yeah, lovely long left hook there from Reyes. He's going for it, isn't he?
If he could find something here to put Lemieux down, this place would go wild.
Looking tired as well, isn't he, David Lemieux?
Another huge left hand from Lemieux, and again Reyes holds on.
Let's go.
Another untidy exchange. They're two very tired men. Body shot.
Look at the blood on the face of Reyes. A mess.
Saturated stuff, isn't it? 18 certificates.
It's been a really good fight, hasn't it? Because we weren't expecting a good fight. We weren't expecting a competitive fight.
Well, I must confess, beforehand, I thought there was every possibility that Lemieux was going to blow this fella away in 2 or 3 rounds. You could argue he almost did,
yeah,
but Reyes just wouldn't take that as the script.
Sometimes, you know, a fighter sees an opportunity to prove himself at a level where he doesn't belong or no one thinks he belongs, and he steps up to the mark. And even though Reyes has lost, clearly for me, he's been very competitive and made David Lemieux really work.
Well, the touch of gloves and the hug from both men. Reyes must know that he's lost that fight, But goodness me, what a brave effort. He survived some huge shots from David Lemieux. At times, he almost winced at what he was delivering and what Reyes was having to absorb. But absorb it he did and saw it through to the final bell.
We've learned nothing new about Lemieux. We know that he can punch very hard. We know that his technique is flawed. He makes loads of mistakes, but he gets away with it because he has tremendous power. But we learned a lot about Reyes here tonight. That his chin is tremendous. His tenacity, his will to win is great. Again, he's not the greatest fighter out there. He get beat by anyone at world level, you think, Reyes. But he'll be avoided now against bigger punches because obviously he can take a dig and he's a nightmare.
Well, Lemieux, as you say, against a boxer, he's surely always going to struggle. And it was boxing ability which kind of clawed Reyes back into this, and the ability to take a tremendous shot.
I don't think Reyes has the ability either. It's just his and the moves box not the...
Michael Buffer poised to give the verdict in just a moment or two. Surely a big points victory for David Lemieux. And the whole atmosphere now in the arena is one of anticipation for the main event.
After 10 middleweight rounds, we go to the scorecards. Glenn Trowbridge and Eric Cheek both scored the bout 99-90. Bert Clemens has it 98-91. All three scores to the winner by unanimous decision from Montreal, Quebec, Canada, David Lemieux.
It was gory at times, but in the end, the judges, as we did, had it by a big distance. And victory for Canada, set back for Mexico. And now, though, we await the big one. The main event is next.
Or maybe that's what Mexico expected in that one all along. And there was an uncanny parallel for me with the state of Reyes at the end of it. When we saw the great Chavez, didn't we, into rounds, and Chavez looked very like that uncanny similarity at the end of the first fight with Oscar de la Hoya.
Yeah, it's like a sort of wallpaper covering of blood. So it doesn't come down in a trickle. It doesn't come down Henry Cooper style squirting out. It comes down in this big fat wall of blood. It's really bizarre.
What a lovely business we're in.
Yeah. And it was only a small cut. Yeah. Imagine if it had been a bad one.
What a fight.
A tremendous fight. I thought Lemieux, he put so much into it. In the early rounds, he wanted to look good. I think he's obviously thinking of maybe if he looked really good tonight, there's a possible Canelo fight in the future if Canelo beats Chavez. So he put everything into those first few rounds and loaded up too much, but they were all single shots. He needed probably to go more combinations, but you've got to give great credit to Reyes. What a strong and
Did you expect anything different tonight, Cinco de Mayo of all nights?
I said to you, Paul, at the start, he'd only been stopped once in his career, so he's a tough fella. But he took some mighty big shots there, and he came through. And at the end there, he probably wanted a 15-round fight, if anything. Amazing. So tremendous effort.
I actually don't think he's harmed his chances of getting that big fight. Do you?
No, I don't think it's hurt his chances. But if he'd have had a second-round knockout, if the Golovkin fight can't be made with Canelo, assuming Canelo beats Chavez, which is what we're going to be talking about a bit later on. If that didn't happen, then if he'd have had a knockout, he would have moved closer to it. What he's done there, he's got good 10 rounds. And when he was best, in my opinion, Richie, is when he moved off and he backed off and he started trying to conserve a bit of energy.
He had to, didn't he?
Because he would have blown out if he'd have gone full pace.
He went off too fast. He had to just slow up a little bit. I think his corner might have said to him, look, just step off him a little bit and just relax and let your shots flow. Because he was trying too hard early on, Steve.
I don't think it's disappointed overall so far tonight, but the big event is upon us in just a few minutes back in the T-Mobile Arena as these two face off at last.
Home is a very special place, full of unique moments, like this one, right now. And you missed it. If only there was something that could help keep us in the moment. Oh, hello, Google Home.
OK, Google, what noise does a panda make?
The giant panda sounds like this.
OK, Google, play Spinning All Around.
OK, playing Spinning All Around.
Oh, lovely.
Discover the rainbow. Taste the rainbow.
Cif Power and Shine Kitchen contains orange and tangerine oils. It removes 100% of kitchen dirt and grease.
Cif Power and Shine, always a beautiful ending.
What are you thinking for lunch?
McDonald's. I fancy that New York stack.
What's that?
2 beef burgers.
Uh-huh.
Beechwood smoked bacon, chunky coleslaw, pickles, cheese.
Nice.
All in a sesame seed bagel. Up for it?
Yeah, cool.
Great Taste of America is back at McDonald's. Go all out for the New York Stack, around until the 16th of May.
Welcome to QuickBooks. Manage your small business finances with it. Customize and send invoices in seconds. Get paid faster. Automatically calculate self-assessment and VAT. Run payroll with ease. And connect everything to your bank account. All using an effortless solution that's great for accountants and used by over 1 million small businesses. QuickBooks makes any place your place of business. See your finances in a whole new way. Search QuickBooks today. Now with up to 50% off for your first 6 months. QuickBooks. Your accounts and taxes done.
Mr. Green has opened the doors to his brand new live casino. Come inside and experience real dealers, real entertainment, real fun. And new players get a second chance with 50% back as cash if you lose your first deposit.
You can bet your dollar down on Mr. Green.
Scott, it's not what it looks like.
You were gonna eat him without me, weren't you?
Now the biting makes sense.
Psst, Scott's home early.
The boxing continues on Fight Night Live with Josh Warrington's big moment in Leeds. He's stepping into world class, or so we hope, against the renowned Kiko Martinez. That's Fight Night Live from Leeds next Saturday from 7:30 the start time, BT Sport 1 and in ultra high definition. And of course, Nicola Adams, the double Olympic gold medalist, takes her next step in the professional ranks as well. Also for UFC fans coming shortly, Stipe Miocic and Jonathan Dos Santos next Saturday, 1 a.m. on BT Sport 2 Live. Top of the bill here tonight from the T-Mobile Arena and just moments away for the big all-Mexican showdown for Cinco de Mayo, their great celebration, and the long-standing rivalry between Alvarez and Cesar Chavez Jr. is about to play out. Steve, it is a catchweight contest. What do we infer from the weigh-in?
Well, one guy's got to come down a few pounds, 4 pounds, 3.5 pounds, 7 pounds, whatever you think, and then the other guy's got to go up 10 pounds. At the weigh-in, people seem to be getting very excited because they think, in my opinion, they're saying that Chavez looks gaunt, looks
164.
Dry. Yeah, 164 was the weight it's made at. So it's a super middleweight contest. It's not really a catch weight. If it goes above 160, it's both weighed 164. They had to be. If they were a pound over, it was $1 million a pound.
Alvarez, Steve, so much higher in weight than for any previous contest.
But so much higher in weight than any previous contest. But I think what we're going to see here is Alvarez get in the ring at about his normal weight. Even though he used to weigh 154, 155 for contests, even when he was so-called middleweight world champion, he'd still get in the ring about 170, 172. Amazing. I think he's still going to get in at 172 because on the scales, he looked kind of fleshy. Not fleshy, that's the wrong word. I'm fleshy, I'm fat. He's not fat or fleshy, don't get me wrong.
He does look different, though,
but his face looked full.
And does that
today, his face was full today.
And does that possibly infer that... I know he's had a lot of things going in his way. We know it's been a struggle at times to be a light middle proper, but all this extra weight, could it infer that, you know, he's going to be sluggish or mentally not tuned in completely?
I'll answer the first one. I don't think he's going to be sluggish because I think he's going to be fighting at his normal weight. In fact, he may even be sharper because he hasn't had to lose that last 8 or 9 pounds. But I do think that mentally he's not quite there. About 2 hours ago, we were sitting here and we saw some footage that we haven't shown yet to the public, people watching. And it was backstage, him doing selfies, almost like a relentless line of people coming into his changing room doing selfies. I don't mind a guy smiling and posing with someone, the guy that owns the arena or the guy that owns the casino. But I don't want to see him posing and smiling with babies 2 hours before he gets gloved up, Paul. Don't like that.
It wasn't what we normally see from him on the night of a fight, or indeed the week of a fight,
Not
where
at all.
he's poker face Richie, you know, he's got his game mask on, he's the Mexican who's got it all to prove.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising, isn't it? He probably thinks that he could be thinking that Chavez has not fought at the same level as him. He might be taking a little bit easier than what he should.
There you go.
He looks very, very relaxed. These were the pictures earlier on. So he's posing with fans, with family. And he doesn't look like he's about to fight one of his fiercest rivals in boxing.
Is that because he thinks this is an easy fight
Exactly.
for me?
I think that's the way he's thinking, that Chavez hasn't fought at the same level. For the last 4 or 5 years, he's certainly gone off the rails here and there. And he may be thinking it's an easier fight. Now, on paper, he hasn't fought at the level, but Chavez has got the tools for the job here. He's a 6'1" guy. He's got a much longer reach. The problem with Chavez is he never boxes long range. He's a typical Mexican. He likes short range and mid-range punching, bent arm work. He doesn't go long. He doesn't use those natural advantages that he has. And he needs them tonight, Paul, in my opinion.
I think we're going to see them tonight, Rich, and I'll tell you for why. Because he's lodged his father. They've become better friends, but in the gym, they're separate. He's managed to hire a guy who's about 200 years of age, Nacho Beristain. We've been watching him getting up in the ring, almost going back to the 60s with Ruben Olivares. This guy's been around that long. And they're training at altitude at a place called Itmo, just about 90 miles from Mexico City. Exactly where Chavez Sr. trains. So Chavez Sr. is there, but what he has said all the way through this training camp, and it's been a long one, what he said all the way through is, my dad's here, my dad was great, I can't be my dad, I'm me, and he's got nothing to do with my training. I think we might actually see him do some stuff that isn't from his father's playbook.
If he can do that, then like I said, I think he's got the tools for the job. He could surprise us all, couldn't he? He could go longer range, and that could be the game plan for Chavez, but he needs that type of performance to beat Canelo.
The problem, though, Richie, is that Alvarez has got the body of work.
Absolutely.
The class of opposition has been so much higher.
And he's the informed fighter at the end of the day. He's been boxing at a higher level against much better opponents. He's the informed fighter. So Chavez is up against it tonight, but he needs a performance of his career, no question.
A few inches short. I think that was the knockout against Kirkland, which was a terrific knockout because we did that fight and we remember watching that fight. That was a great knockout there.
What a shot that
And by the way, at that point, Khan's really in the fight. I think Khan had won 4 or 5 of the 6 rounds. This is the Liam Smith fight. Liam Smith gave it everything, and he just found different shots to take care of him. The Kirkland stoppage is the most impressive of all of those because it's devastating and nasty.
As good as he has looked on those jobs, do you think there's a little bit of a question mark over the fact? You know, he's never been that pure light middleweight, has he? Because there have been all these concessions in the contract, and we're in that territory again in this fight.
We are indeed. In fact, when he first won the light middleweight title all those years ago, he fought Matthew Hatton, I think, for the vacant title. That fight was a welterweight title fight until about 3 weeks before the fight when he decided he couldn't make the weight.
There you go.
He's been able to play with weights. He's been able to demand things. And that's why we're all missing one point here. If he's in so much power, if he's the major attraction, and if he can comfortably do 155, 156, 157, why didn't he make Chavez, who's getting paid $2 million less, why didn't he make him get down to 160? That's the question. Because basically, if you look at this weight must suit Chavez. He's fought a 167.5 recently. He's fought a 168. He hasn't been this weight for 5 years, Paul. If this is all about Canelo's show, why is it up at 164, which has to help Chavez?
Because maybe he needs this opponent, because he needs that Chavez tick on the CV, Richie.
Of course.
Sort that bit of business out first.
And I think it niggles Canelo that Chavez has sort of lived off his father's name. Now, he's been a great fighter, don't get me wrong, and he's fought at a fairly good level, but not as high a level as Canelo. And Canelo thinks that he's probably stole a little bit of limelight in Mexican boxing, definitely. And, you know, that it's a grudge, this is a grudge match, and that's why Canelo, he wants to settle it.
And for all the silver spoons that Chavez was born with in different parts of his body, of all those silver spoons, Paul, okay, he still had to fight hard, and he still lost his way, and he still had to come back. And the pressure on him, you cannot. I was in the Azteca Stadium when he fought Greg Haugen, okay, 143,000 people, and when the dad, and I was sitting ringside, sitting next to Mr. T, who was wearing nothing but Speedos, a gold chain, and a pair of flip flops. Okay, I've got picture evidence of that, and I am telling you, Paul.
Don't bring it in.
What was you wearing?
I was fully kitted out in the Hawaiian number. But let me tell you something. About that night. That was adoration. 143,000 people, and they would have laid down their life for him.
If he wins this tonight, does he get that?
He doesn't get to Chavez because no one's going to ever get to Chavez senior status, but he gets a lot closer to it. And listen, I'm not saying I fancy Chavez here. I'm not saying that. I'd be surprised if Canelo does the job on him that the Canelo army think he's going to do.
I think he will do the job, though. I personally do.
And comfy?
I think he wins on points, and I think it's a pretty convincing win for Canelo, mainly because over the last 5 years, like I say, Chavez just hasn't been there, and he hasn't fought at the level. I think Canelo wins this, and I think he wins it comfortably.
Well, I think Canelo wins. I just think he has to win a hard fight. I think we're going to see the best we've seen from Chavez yet. A kid that's had unbelievable pressure put on him to go with all the ponies and bikes and dogs he's had.
He'll never get a chance like this again, will he?
No, but this is it. This is it. Canelo will. He won't.
Fantastic scenes. Last few minutes before they're going to make their way out for this long-awaited showdown. And there is no mistaking the depth of the animosity between the two camps either, Richie. You know, we've been hearing it from Oscar De La Hoya in the background as well.
This is massive, you know.
Don't go home to Mexico if you lose this.
Well, it isn't about world titles. This is about Mexico.
Bragging rights.
Yeah, it's bragging rights. It's a local derby. And the crowd, look at the crowd. It's a fantastic crowd there. This is massive. Like I say, it wouldn't have to be a world title fight.
And I tell you what's interesting, just quickly, Paul, I think people assumed it would be a Canelo crowd because Chavez has ruined his name. No, I'm told by people that are out there it's 50-50, which makes it even more interesting because Chavez has still got that thing. He came from nothing, really from nothing. The dad, remember, not the son.
Only problem is Dad can't get in and help him.
Well, he tries. Luckily, he's been banned. That might be the factor.
Somewhere in the background, you know, Oscar De La Hoya, as the promoter, the business, we're hearing that they're close now to nailing down a deal for Alvarez Golovkin, which is about the biggest fight in the world right now. So, is it all dependent on a good performance tonight, as well as a win from Alvarez, or does he just need to win?
I think he just needs to win. Because that fight's a massive fight, whether he wins on a split decision or whether he wins by first round knockout. We're told that Golovkin's going to be there, but we haven't seen a clip of him yet. Now, whether he comes out just before they come out, I don't know.
Just on, you were talking about the tools that Chavez may be able to use, Richie. I mean, this, you know, pretty significant height advantage.
Height and reach. I mean,
I'm going to call it an advantage. Maybe
6'1" and a 73-inch reach compared to a 5'9" and a
crowd here, and among the millions watching him around the world. He's had problems making weight in the past. This time, though, he's prepared assiduously, and he was spot on at yesterday's weigh-in. Fight made at 164 pounds, and he says he is ready. And now we await the walk to the ring of Canelo Alvarez.
todo lo que he hecho en mi vida ha sido en preparación para cada reto.
The biggest draw in Hispanic boxing, one of the biggest draws in world boxing.
Me siento orgulloso de poder seguir la tradición de grandes peleadores mexicanos. Me siento orgulloso de poder representar a un país como México.
The one defeat on his record against the great Floyd Mayweather.
He peleado contra los mejores peleadores del mundo. Y como todas las leyendas,
tonight looking for his 49th professional victory.
Pelea y reina.
And he will be hit by a wall of noise when he steps through those doors into the arena. The crowd watching on the huge screens above the ring. And you can hear the roar of his supporters. The flag with but didn't he look so fairly quickly who has the power. Las Vegas awaits.
Canelo Alvarez.
Voz de la guitarra mía al despertar la mañana.
An emotional moment, I'm sure, for Canelo. There's a few boos in amongst the cheers. It's a split. He's the hot favourite for this one. The pride of Mexico. There's been a bit of genuine bad blood, you sense, between the two. But now it's not about talking. It is pretty much fight time. Looks very relaxed up there, I have to say.
Well, he's been in so many big fights, huge fights in the past, and this is nothing that he'll be phased by. He has his routine, his pattern, his mental state of mind. He knows where he's at. And he'll be comfortable and confident.
Michael Buffer won't be underplaying this one. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the T-Mobile Arena by way of the MGM Grand of Las Vegas, Nevada, USA. Oscar de la Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions, in association with TBG Promotions, is proud to present middleweight division. Catchweight limit of 164.5 pounds. And it's all sponsored by Tecate, Born Bold, Hennessy, Never Stop, Never Settle, O'Reilly Auto Parts, better prices every day. Adriana's Insurance, the high-risk driver's choice. Interjet, Aerolino Oficial del Box, the smart way to fly. And the motion picture, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword, in theaters everywhere, May 12th. This contest sanctioned by the Nevada State Athletic Commission, Chairman Anthony Marnell III, Executive Director Bob Bennett. The three judges at ringside, Adelaide Bird, Glenn Feldman, and Dave Moretti. And inside the ring, in charge of the action at the bell, your referee, Kenny Bayless. Y ahora, damas y caballeros, los funcionarios están listos. Los luchadores. están listos. Damas y caballeros, están todos listos for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world and wish they could be here. Ladies and gentlemen, el guerrero luchando de Culiacán, Sinaloa, México. Cesar Chavez Jr. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner with his time world champion, former middleweight champion of the world and current two-time light middleweight world champion. Damas y caballeros, es la máquina de lucha legendaria de Guadalajara, Jalisco, México, Saúl Canelo
Okay, gentlemen, trunks are good on both sides. This is it. We went over the rules in the dressing room. I want to caution you to keep this fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times, and what I say you must obey. Good luck, brothers.
Who's going to have the power, though, and who's going to have the strength?
But he has to make those wrong punches tell before he gets in close. Alvarez is a very good counter-puncher, very patient fighter. He'll want Chavez to come in. He'll want to draw Chavez in. He'll want to catch him. He'll want to take a little step out, catch him falling short, and then counter. So Chavez got to make that jab, those wrong punches tell before he comes in close.
Chavez says it's been a problem being his famous father's son. He said people judge him so harshly, and when anything goes wrong, everything that's bad is doubled against him. As the son of a man who was the one.
It's amazing, isn't it? They both come nose. Chavez Sr. came from humble.
Chavez, the son of a fighting legend. Alvarez, the son of a man who was a one-time ice cream vendor.
It's amazing, isn't it? They both come nose. Chavez Sr. came from humble beginnings, but so did Canelo. Good right hand there as well from Alvarez. Second one he's landed with, heavy shot.
Is Alvarez going to prove to be the power puncher in there? Certainly he believes. Who held the world middleweight title in 2011, 2012. 3 successful defences of that crown before he ran into Sergio Martinez.
Just waiting a bit.
That night was exceptional.
Oh, it was, yeah. Well, Martinez was an absolute nightmare to fight. Just waiting a little bit too long to let his punches go here, Chavez. He started off brightly, landed with some lovely uppercut, left hook, then a body shot. And then just backing off. He's trying to be, he don't want to make any silly mistakes. Usually he leans in with his punches, so that's good. He hasn't started to do that yet. We've got to keep that jab working. Canelo getting his jab into play at the moment.
No real power shots landed so far. Get the impression the two men just kind of feeling each other out at this point. Last few seconds of an interesting opening round. Not a lot between them. Well, an interesting opening round. How did you score it, Barry?
Oh, for Alvarez, John, I think. Yeah, I think Chavez started quite brightly, landed with a lovely uppercut, left hook, and a good body shot. Chavez paid him back with a couple of Alvarez paid him back with a couple of right hands, and then the jab then dominating the latter part of the round for me.
Eddie Reynoso, the main man in the corner.
But it was nice to see that Chavez Jr. wasn't. Actually, I've got to say interesting though, just to interrupt myself, they both stood up in between the rounds.
Well, what do you make of that?
I've just never seen it before. I make nothing of it. I just an observation.
Fighters choose to. Nacho Beristan, vastly experienced man, taking control of the Chavez corner, 77 years old. First thing he said to Alvarez, Eddie Reynoso, you're too slow today.
Well, he came out of the box pretty fast, but I think if he overcommits, because I said this before the fight, Alvarez is a very good counter puncher. He will make you pay for all your mistakes. But I still think at the same time that got to use those long arms, that jab got to be snappy for. And he's got to try. He has got to go forward. He's got to gamble. He's known for not having the best. So for me, you got to start fast. The points if he can. Don't want to let Alvarez get into a rhythm, that's for sure. Oh, lovely.
He shows signs of doing. He's upping the pace here. A couple of solid clubbing body shots, working well inside, and then a lovely straight. All from Alvarez.
Well, Alvarez is usually very, very patient in his work. Never overcommits until he's sure his opponent's on his way out. They're being very proactive so far in this round.
Chavez having to work on retreat, in retreat.
Been good with the jab as well so far, Alvarez.
Smaller man, but with real authority in that left-hand lead.
Oh, lovely. That's more to do with Chavez making a mistake. Chavez comes forward, he likes to fight in this ring. But he's coming forward and not throwing any punches, just walking in with his hands up. Opportunity there for Alvarez to tee off.
Chavez being told by the referee to keep his punches up. You get the impression that the better work inside is coming from Alvarez in this early stage.
You know when you've got two Mexicans fighting, everyone starts off with a combination with an uppercut. coming second best in it at the moment, Chavez.
Good round this for Alvarez. Slightly tentative opening, and he was told to up the pace, and he has done. Alvarez suggested that Chavez was a quitter, and he said, once a quitter, always a quitter.
A bit harsh. He retired with fanfare, obviously, in the 9th round, and that, obviously, in the Mexican culture, that's unforgivable. Good start here, though, from Alvarez. Strong, took the centre of the ring.
There are those who've disproved the once a quitter, always a quitter, notably Roberto Duran.
Yeah.
Good work again from Alvarez. This has been a very impressive round for him this second, and Chavez hasn't delivered too much by way of response. Chavez goes back to his corner. There's his father watching on at ringside. One of the greatest fighters of all time.
And another Mexican legend just sat behind him there working for TV was Marco Antonio Barrera.
A pair of them work side by side on many occasions.
Just looked like he'd be struggling for ideas there, didn't he, Chavez Jr.? Canelo came out strong, worked behind that solid jab, and it is a solid punch there, Alvarez, that jab. And then Chavez Jr. just had no answer for it.
He's getting bullied around.
He is, yeah, he is. He's waiting a little bit too long to get off.
And still, he stands.
And the problem is, John, is that Chavez Jr. has never used his action, never used that long reach.
Gennady Golovkin, I wonder if he's going to wind up fighting the winner of this one. Was supposed to be fighting Billy Joe Saunders in June, until the carrot of Canelo Alvarez was dangled in front of him. Well, we'll see how that one plays out. Good second round it was for Alvarez, and your card, Barry, a couple of rounds up already.
Yes.
Chavez needs to get into this fight. The work rate is coming from Alvarez.
Well, what's happening? Chavez is trying to look for the perfect opportunity to land, rather than just maybe let his hands go. You've got to be careful what's going to come back, because Alvarez is a good counter puncher, but he's waiting too long to get off, and then Alvarez is just beating him to the punch.
Alvarez has been working with a strength and conditioning coach for fighting at this higher weights, working with Angel Heredia, who worked with Juan Manuel Marquez, and a good shot there.
Strong, solid right hand there from Alvarez.
He's out jabbing Chavez early on in this fight.
Which you would usually think shouldn't be allowed because the taller guy, but it's not. For me, it's not a surprise. Chavez has never used his reach and his height. He's just bullied his way through inferior opponents, and maybe not learning, honing those skills, but maybe might be his undoing tonight.
Hardly taken a reverse step so far, Alvarez. It's been him who's been forcing the fight, and he'll be the one who's catching the judge's eye.
Got to work when he gets close here now, Chavez. He's got to work away.
And he's starting to get busted up. There's blood coming from his nose.
But Chavez looking a little bit. He's looking a little bit shell-shocked, isn't he, Chavez?
He's looking outgunned. The stronger man, the more accurate man, the man with the power in his punches at this stage is Alvarez.
Good there from Alvarez.
That's better from Chavez. Needs more.
Good response though back there though from Canelo Alvarez, and a good with the left hook of the body.
The blood is flowing. Alvarez trying to give him a real working over in this third round. And he has bossed the action again. Well, the suggestion before the fight was the early rounds could be decisive, and it is quite clear the man who's in charge.
Well, you thought that the way Chavez fights, that he would go all out and try and make it a dogfight, use that physical strength, that natural weight that he had to force a fight here with Alvarez. But he's tried to be cagey, he tried to outbox the better technician, and he's coming woefully second at the moment. So one-sided fight right now, John.
Look from the last couple of rounds as though he's started to give him a real working over. And you used the word shell-shocked about the way Chavez looked. There's not been any stage of the action so far when he's looked as though he's going to take control.
It's still early in the fight, but it looks like he has no ideas to counteract anything that Alvarez is doing, and that's a worry.
Alvarez was saying in his corner, I feel good, I'm confident. Well, he might be.
So he should be.
Chavez has got major problems in here. Suggested beforehand that the early rounds would be decisive.
All it takes, though, is a little bit of success here from Chavez. Oh, good body shot there from Alvarez.
Again, showing that he's the power puncher. Down came the gloves, and he punishes Chavez with a shot to the head, out jabbing him as well.
But that's Chavez there, not committing with the right hand. Throwing it half-heartedly and paying the price. You've got to commit with your punches. When you're in against a guy who's a better counter-puncher, better technician, you've got to commit with your shot. And Alvarez making him pay.
Alvarez right in control. Good jab again from the smaller man. Accuracy and power from Canelo.
Lovely combination from Alvarez. Good right hand back from Chavez.
He doesn't look as though he's hurt Alvarez at any point yet.
I don't think really that Alvarez has hurt Chavez just yet, but he's landing too easily, too frequently.
Outworking him.
Outworking him, outthinking him.
Oh, lovely uppercut, right hand, following on from the hooks to the body.
Lovely right hand there.
Few boos in the crowd, I think, from the Chavez performance so far. And big headshots once more.
It's because he's not fighting back. You'd expect him to be fighting back. You thought he wanted a war.
If it carries on like this, Alvarez will win by a landslide margin if it goes the distance, and it's hard to see that it can if it continues to be as one-sided.
The jab from Alvarez, though, was very, very effective. Really is. Just stops you in your tracks.
Penny for the thoughts of Gennady Golovkin as he watches Alvarez in action here.
Yeah. Nice hit from Chavez.
Better. Needs a lot more, though.
He needs to try and push Alvarez back.
Now, how do you begin to do it? You've got to throw more punches for a start. The blood's starting to flow from his nose again.
You've got to come forward with long, straight punches.
Well, it's been everything for Saul Alvarez so far. 4 rounds completed and 4 out of 4.
And an easy night's work so far. Except for that first sort of 30 seconds of the first round, where Chavez came up with a nice little lovely uppercut left hook. It's been all Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo Alvarez's friends and family delighted with what they're seeing.
And he's dictating the pace. He's fighting within himself.
How does Chavez get himself back into this fight?
You got to use those longer arms. You got to be pushing Alvarez back with the straight punches. Go behind the punches. Strong jab, strong right hand. Make it, because Alvarez will move back to make you miss. Follow it with long straight punches, and you'll catch him.
Is there a belief in this young fella? Can he dig deep? Can he find the form of years gone by, or is the one-sided beating going to continue? Needs to get some rounds and needs to get them soon, Chavez.
Let's be honest and realistic. We all, most of us felt that Alvarez was going to be dominant in the fight, and maybe and was a favourite to win. But we thought that Chavez Jr. would have made it competitive in the early stages of the fight. And he hasn't been able to do that yet.
Maybe he'll surprise us.
All you need is one good shot. It sets you alight sometimes. You've got to make those opportunities for yourself.
There's not been too many times in his career when Alvarez has been cracked by one good shot and really put in trouble.
No.
He's got to do something to disrupt his confidence and not allow him to throw punches like that. Punch of the fight so far. Great right hand from Alvarez.
Fantastic timing there from Sal Alvarez. That wasn't even that bad of a jab there from Chavez. Just beautiful timing there from Canelo Alvarez.
Hand speed, accuracy, and the transfer of power.
You mentioned something earlier, John, about being a fighter being in a rhythm, and that's what Alvarez is right now. He's in a rhythm. He's in this nice, lovely little mode here, going through the motions now.
Chavez is not enjoying this one little bit. Head's going in close. Kenny Bayless telling him to watch it.
Hand of the jab there. Chavez. This is where Chavez likes to do his work. That's where he operates. Oh, lovely right uppercut there from Alvarez again. Fantastic display.
Chavez is being worked over. A tentative sort of left-hand lead. Alvarez looking for another big right hand.
Looking is the key. He looks for everything. He don't ever throw a punch without thinking first, Alvarez. And it's quick decisions he makes. You know, they're milliseconds, but he's always looking, thinking. See there? Looking, stalking. There's always thought behind his work.
Rival fans chanting their support. There's a good right hand.
Just a glancing blow there, luckily there for Alvarez.
Chavez saw the opening though, almost took it.
But that's what Chavez got to do. See, Alvarez likes to do that little lean back and then come back. Because he's got those long arms, he can throw that. He can throw another punch straight after it.
This has to be another Alvarez round. Canelo heading for 5 out of 5.
And the worrying part here for Chavez Jr. is, I think Alvarez is still boxing within himself. He's setting the pace. It's all in his rhythm, and he's enjoying himself so far.
It is looking very bad indeed for the Chavez fans. Not been any stage of this fight so far when it's looked like springing an upset. It really looked like getting into it.
No, not at all. I said he looked a little bit shell-shocked, looked like he had no ideas, and he's a little bit confused of what's going on. A little swelling there over the left eye. And that's testament to the right hands that there's one of them here.
Well, that's that great shot which we said was the best punch of the fight so far.
Just a little twist to the shoulders there, making that left jab come over the top.
Chavez being told by his corner he's got to hit him. Not kidding.
Fantastic advice.
And hit him repeatedly. 5 rounds down. It's all Canelo.
Obviously, you're saying things what he should be doing, or what you think you'd like him to do. It's easier said than done, because you know you make a mistake with Alvarez, and he makes you pay with a hard, nasty shot. And it's not always it's not always the right hand over the top. He turns that right uppercut lovely, long left hook, he hits you to the body hard. But the variety in his work is pretty good.
Chavez just covering up. Needs to throw more leather, Barry. Otherwise, this is going to be out of sight.
But here, no, that's what he should be rallying there. No, he should be flurrying. whether they're hard shots or fast soft shots. You got to be working. He's just not comfortable in there right now. Even in his favourite, even in the pocket where he does his best work, he doesn't feel comfortable.
There's no belief.
He knows
that's the way it looks.
He knows Alvarez is a better fighter than him. Unless this is a master plan of trying to tire Alvarez out, which I doubt very much.
Alvarez's stamina has not really has let him down before. The only time he's struggled really was when he was outboxed by Mayweather, and there's no sign that that's happening here.
Yeah, and against Erislandy Lara but they're different styles to Chavez Jr. They were movers, slicksters, and this guy is certainly not that.
This is where Chavez needs to unload, but doesn't do so. Now he does.
Yeah, he's trying, that's better. But he knows that Alvarez is trying to set him up. And you know, when you're in there, you just know, you think you'll have a success, but you know the guy's just trying to set you up for something. And that's what Alvarez done. See, Alvarez come out early, made him feel his power straight away.
Alvarez waiting for the opening and letting Chavez come to him, just leaning back on those ropes, almost beckoning him in, saying, come on, have a go.
Well, Chavez is throwing, but Alvarez is blocking.
Alvarez feeling the power of Chavez, such as it is, and waiting for the taller man to make a mistake, which on that occasion didn't come.
Well, Chavez should have flurried there, Chavez, and then took a big arc to the right, and then went from the side again.
Good hand speed again from Alvarez, and accuracy.
It's not a beating, John.
One-sided though.
He's been totally outboxed.
What would he have done?
What was it, 1990? I can't remember the year. Meldrick Taylor totally outboxed Chavez Sr. and he knocked him out in the last round, the last 5 seconds.
Controversially, his father was just shouting, do something, do something.
That's what we're all thinking, what we're all saying.
Any clue, Dad?
The difference is Chavez Sr. would be going at Canelo right now. He'd be going at Alvarez.
Chavez Sr. was a brute. He was a brilliant fighter, a legend. And Chavez needs to find some of that spirit if somehow he's going to claw his way back. Chavez corner being told, you have to stop him. You have to stop him now. And we'd agree with that because we've made it 6 out of 6 for Canelo Alvarez. Hard to see where the stoppage is going to come. Alvarez going to work again, letting the punches flow.
That jab of Alvarez is so hard, you tend to think that he might actually be left-handed. That's how solid his left jab is.
Well, this is a bigger effort from Chavez. Needed more of this a few rounds ago. He's on the front foot and the crowd respond. They want to see a fight.
Trying to look for the spots there, Chavez. Oh, good response there though from Alvarez.
Oh, what an uppercut. Great shot, that right hand. Beautiful work from Alvarez as he came off the ropes responding. Very much the cash cow of Golden Boy Promotions, Canelo Alvarez. And I think Oscar De La Hoya is going to be pretty pleased with what his man's doing in there right now.
Yeah, most definitely. Really boxing well and still within himself, you feel. But Chavez is trying to force the pace a little bit more here without going too gung-ho.
He's upped his work rate, but he's being made to pay.
the difference in quality and class when they both let their hands go is different. Alvarez just looks a different level. And left eye starting to close as well from Chavez Jr.
Bruising both below and above. Not affecting his vision as yet.
That's better though from Chavez. He put his head on the head like he's done all night to Alvarez, but this time he's actually throwing uppercuts.
Flooding body shots once more from Canelo.
What you see here with Chavez Jr., he's fighting like a man who knows he's in with someone better than him. And I know how that feels, and it's just very difficult. You know, you have to be so sure that your hands go, because you know the guy's a better opponent, he's betting you in every passage of the game, and he'll make you pay for making a mistake.
Well, he did better in that round, though, Chavez.
He did, but not enough. I still think the quality was Alvarez.
7 rounds gone, and on Barry Jones's card, 7 rounds out of 7 for this man.
And 7 rounds still on his feet in between rounds there for Alvarez.
Psychological ploy, maybe.
I think he's showing Chavez a sign of disrespect. I know there's been a clear disdain for each other.
Big George used to do it, didn't he? George Foreman.
Yeah, but that's because he was a giant. If he sat down, he wouldn't get back up. You would tend to feel. And then for this, I know they've been vocal, especially Alvarez, been vocal how much he dislikes Chavez seeing a junior.
Big effort there from Chavez, but you can see he was blocking them, and the better punches came from Alvarez when he came back off the ropes.
Yeah, look at it, just different quality, a different gear altogether when Alvarez lets his hands go.
Chavez needs a knockout. At very least, he needs to put his man down, and we're into the 8th round, and no sign of that happening so far.
But he's made more of an effort. You can't expect him, and you can't blame him for not just going for it and risking getting knocked out yet. But he's made more of an effort in the last couple of rounds, and made it a little bit. It's not competitive, but a little bit more competitive. And the problem you had though is that Alvarez has never shown any sign of gassing out. Oh, lovely.
Terrific accuracy from Alvarez and an appreciative buzz from ringside.
He's so thoughtful in his work, Alvarez. Oh, good there from Chavez.
That's better. And you can see the Chavez supporters urging him to keep it coming.
But Alvarez is so thoughtful in his work, he punches through the target every time. So he makes sure he's in range. He very rarely misses with a straight punch.
Chavez is blowing in there, feeling the pace.
To be fair, I think he's done quite well with the pace, because he's been known to really gas out in fights before. But you can see he's genuinely trained hard for this. But he's second best in every quarter he looks at the moment.
Been training in the Atomi Mountains for this one, Chavez, where his dad used to work in readiness for his biggest fights.
Look at that there from Alvarez. He's watching the punches, blocking everything, dipping the elbow down to block the body shot. If Chavez would only use the jab a bit more, make it solid, make it fast. Could have got some headway maybe in the earlier rounds.
Well, Alvarez been looking to take him out. Good work again, beautifully switching the attack from body to head.
To Chavez's credit, though, he's taken some decent shots and hasn't shown any sign of wilting with the power of Alvarez, even though you can see the sweat fly off his head every time he gets hit with the right hand. Hasn't shown any signs of wilting.
Crisper punches from Alvarez, and he's been superior with that left-hand lead.
Yeah. Well, we said earlier, he punches through the target. Every shot he throws, every straight shot he should throw, he aims for the back of the head.
Well, Chavez has had his moments in this round, but once more, surely not enough.
No, nowhere near enough, I'm afraid. And he's made a bigger effort in these last 3 rounds than he did in the previous 5, but it's just not enough. He's in a guy who's better than him in every department.
Agüita, tómale poquito, toma.
Alvarez heading towards a shutout victory. Looking that way.
No te precipites en quererlo noquear. No te aboraces. Estás haciendo la pelea bien, hay que buscarlo. Mueve la cintura, hay que empezar a abrir con los jabs. No busques el ocaso.
Ya vamos en noveno round.
Everything going Alvarez's way. Being told that he's fighting well and don't rush to knock him out.
Tienes que trabajarlo más, Julio. Tienes que meterte más con él. Lo está dejando, le está dejando toda la pelea a él, Julio. Vamos, métase con él, compa.
Desperate times in that corner. Desperate measures required. Chavez being told, you're letting him dominate. Well, that is true, and it was certainly true pretty much after the opening 30 seconds.
He is letting him, but I don't think he can do much about it anyway, to be honest.
Can Chavez somehow find something to turn this round? The left hand from Alvarez was low. Referee just checking that Chavez is okay.
A fantastic right hand that preceded that. There was a lovely shot. See, that's where Chavez operates there. He threw that right uppercut there in the 3/4 range. But he's I wouldn't say scared to let his hands go.
It's better. Now he needs to sustain it. How the crowd want to see it. The Chavez turning something on here at last. Or is Alvarez just letting him?
I think he's letting him, because most of these punches are not getting through, and the ones that are half blocked. But that's all Chavez can do is just keep trying to hit the target. And what he needs to do is change the angle, try and take a big step to the side, and whip in a left hook from the side of Alvarez, make Alvarez turn.
Alvarez as much as to say, right, you've had your turn, now let's see what I can do, and we'll have a look. And he pushes him back, uses his strength to do so.
And we've seen Alvarez in previous fights how patient he can be. The Amir Khan fight, the Liam Smith fight, he won't go for the knockout until he's sure that his fight is wilting.
Well, they told him to bide his time, haven't they?
Or tiring. When the fight has been competitive, like Amir Khan and Liam Smith were, then he just boxes sensible, takes his time, and waits to see the opening. He won't take any silly risks.
Well, they'll know that he's won everything so far.
And once he feels that strength zapping from Chavez Jr., then I think he'll go for it.
Big effort from Chavez in this round. Great job. Is Alvarez just waiting, just letting Chavez punch himself out a little? Certainly taking a bit of a breather in this 9th round. Is Chavez doing enough to win it?
A lot of the punches with Chavez have been blocked, but he's been busier, much busier. Oh, it's nice, fast hands there, good counter skills there from Alvarez.
Chavez having one of his better rounds here, though.
I think he might have done enough here, John.
At last, are we awarding a round for Julio Cesar Chavez? You give it to him, Barry?
I do.
Taking 9 rounds, but he's won one.
And he hasn't won one convincingly either, John. Let's make that clear.
Julio, tienes que golpear más, Julio. Tienes que meterte más con él.
Left eye swollen up.
Pégate con él porque le des la distancia. Sí.
But he's seeing okay. Checking how many rounds remaining. And that's punch statistic coming up there, briefly showing you that Alvarez is dominant. Chavez just being told once again he's got to throw more punches. He's got to knock him out on our card.
Throwing lots of punches is the Mexican way.
Hold it.
Cornermen a wee bit slow to get out of the ring. And so the action resumes. 3 rounds remaining. 3 rounds away from surely Canelo Alvarez being crowned the King of Mexico.
And it was always on the cards beforehand, but you would have thought, and I'll say it again, you would have thought that Chavez, certainly in the earlier round, would have made a fight of it. And he hasn't been able to, or hasn't tried to. I don't know. I think it's all down to Alvarez having just technically being better, physically stronger as well, it seems. Good body shot there from Alvarez.
Chavez felt that one. And into reverse gear again, which is not where he wants to be if he's somehow going to win another round. This is all Alvarez again now.
But look how gun-shy he is, Chavez. He got opportunity there to throw the jab. He can step in and step out with that jab, and he just looks too afraid to let his hands go.
Felt the weight of the left hook, and now it's a right hook which thuds home. The power right from the outset has looked as though it's been with the man who, through his career, has principally been a light middleweight.
Yes. Well, if anything, though, this proves that fighting at this weight, I know he's not fighting the same level as Golovkin, has proved that Alvarez can fight at a higher weight effectively.
And will Golovkin finally have the fight he wants? Will Alvarez step up to the plate? I wonder. If he can get through this, which it looks very much as though he's going to do by a huge margin.
It'd be the comeback of all comebacks, wouldn't it, if Chavez could pull this out of the bag. It would almost rival his dad's win against Meldrick Taylor, almost. Not quite.
Richard Steele ending that one in the closing seconds. One of the great controversial moments of boxing.
Oh, it's lovely there from Alvarez. Partially blocked there, but from Chavez.
Crowd want to see Chavez really go for him. It's not happening though.
Well, they're a Mexican crowd, 2 Mexican fighters on a Mexican weekend. You would, from their traditions, you would thought that Chavez would have been going for it.
They wanted to see Barrera Morales again. It was never going to be.
No. But again, I got to say the same thing again. We thought it was always going to be Alvarez who was going to win the fight, and quite clearly, but we thought that Chavez would have really gone for it at some point.
There's jeers from the crowd again, and it's jeers for the performance of Julio Cesar Chavez. The judges having a very, very easy time of it. Another round by a big margin for Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, well, Chavez is boxing like a guy who's in the fight. He's trying to win it on boxing, and that's not working. He's a mile behind. And this is one of the easiest nights that Alvarez has had for a very long time. I mean, I can't remember him having such an easy fight since he's been a champion.
There's never been any stage of it where remotely it looks as though Chavez is going to win it. Not at any moment. No. A second chance in many ways for his career. He's still in there, but has he taken it? You'd suggest not.
No, if he really wants to win the fight, then these 2 rounds he's got to bite on that gum shield and just go for it.
Has he got it in the armoury, or is it going to continue the same pattern? Will Alvarez maybe go for the stoppage?
He will. I think he will try and turn the screws a little bit, Alvarez, but again, he won't take any silly risks, so why should he?
He's won the fight. Won the fight by mile.
And you forget how much experience Alvarez has had over the years. He's 26 years of age. It's unbelievable the experience that he's had. The fighters he's been in with, he's learned off all his wins, those close, controversial wins against You know, against Alessandro Lara, with the defeat against Mayweather, he's learned so much from those fights. It's made him an all-rounded fighter.
A lot of people suspected, was he going to be broken by that Mayweather defeat? Well, he has emphatically answered that one, hasn't he?
Well, you take Solace, you've been totally outboxed, but by the best fighter of your generation. So, you know, there's no real shame in that.
Well, the sellout crowd wanted to see a battle royal, and it has just not turned out to be that fight.
No, they've seen a dominant display by a better fighter. That's what they've seen.
Well, you have to commend his performance, because he has boxed really well tonight. Alvarez, from word go. Hand speed, accuracy, economy of movements as well.
Yeah.
Great ring generalship.
Exactly. And the jab as well of Alvarez has been just absolutely fantastic. And again, the thought in his work. That's one of the few punches that he's missed all night. The thought in his work. You can see his eyes looking over the target, you know, picking where he's going to put his next punch, and he's calculating the next 3 punches in advance. And he can do that because Chavez is not firing back in the quiet gaps. In the quiet times where Chavez should be throwing the jab, he's not doing nothing, giving chance for Alvarez to set up his attacks.
The question, I'm sure, will be asked in the ring afterwards. What about Gennady Golovkin? Maybe Golovkin will get up into the ring and issue the challenge himself. He's there at ringside, sitting a few seats away from Oscar De La Hoya and Bernard Hopkins. He's there for one reason, to try and get the big fight on.
Well, if they can't make it after this, then let's just forget about talking about it. They should just both go their separate ways.
Okay, here we go.
Alvarez not having that was a low punch.
No, it certainly wasn't. Hits him in the ribs, didn't he?
Alvarez has been what we've expected, to be honest. And Chavez has been a little bit disappointed. I didn't think he was going to win, but he's been disappointed in his macho effort that you would expect from a Mexican of his pedigree. If Chavez Jr. was an out-and-out fancy Dan boxer, then you would say, you know, he don't fight that way. But he has been a bully in the past. You know, and I don't mean like a horrible bully. I mean he bullies opponents around the ring. He can be aggressive.
Maybe Chavez at the lighter weight, maybe he's struggled to maintain a work rate. I'm being sympathetic here, trying to provide an excuse for him.
Maybe, but he hasn't looked. No, I think if he would have been really struggling, then Alvarez would have got the stoppage.
Well, Alvarez has comprehensively outboxed him. 1 round to go. Maybe Chavez won the 9th when Alvarez took his foot off the gas. Apart from that, it has been a shutout on our card. Has Chavez got one last grandstand finish in him, or will Alvarez go for the stoppage?
Well, Alvarez, no, I say he's a really good, underestimated counter-puncher, but he hasn't had to do that today. He's been the aggressor throughout, and he's just shown that this rivalry is not really a rivalry. It's one guy who's levels above another guy, giving away natural weight, size and everything else, but the quality in his work has just been different gear to what Chavez Jr. has had to offer.
Odds as good as 4-1 on for Alvarez in the Vegas casinos before this. I say as good as, because the way this has looked, 4-1 on, kind of looks as good as money in the bank, hasn't it? If it'd been 50-1 on, it couldn't have been much more emphatic.
Nice little right hand there from Chavez.
At last.
And that's where you feel disappointed. When you're in against someone who's better than you in every department, then it's just one of those things you can't answer. But he hasn't tried anything new, Chavez Jr. He's had no ideas.
Maybe he realised at an early stage that there was the possibility there that he was just going to get taken apart and hurt. So he's looked to survive, look to get through there.
Yeah, but survive. Maybe he has. But you tend to think at this level, you know, and this stage that he would try something. I don't mean just rush it, though I think he should have rushed at Canelo and really tried to make it a dogfight. You know, roughed him up, everything, elbows, head, whatever you can do to unsettle Alvarez. But you haven't tried nothing. You haven't tried getting on his toes a little bit more. He's just done the same thing every round, and it hasn't worked. And he hasn't got the ring intelligence or the effort.
Or the fitness.
Or the fitness, yeah.
Well, a minute to go. Alvarez on the attack again.
But like I say, John, it's easy to say these things. You've got Alvarez in front of you, orchestrating everything. And he's a hard man to move.
Well, you have to give credit where credit's due. There's nothing unimpressive about Alvarez's performance here. Unless if you're, I suppose, hypercritical, you might suggest that he could have risked trying to take him out. But why bother when you're a mile in front?
He's been punched perfect, hasn't he? Just see that left hook to the body there. And Chavez showing that he can take a really good shot, didn't budge. And that tends to point that Chavez maybe got more in the tank.
So, last 15 seconds of the fight. All about Canelo, all about Alvarez. The pride of Mexico. Chavez, the old champion, has been found wanting. It hasn't turned out to be the battle royal that the fans wanted. There's a few jeers around the auditorium. People now applaud, though, the effort of Canelo Alvarez, and it was a very accomplished performance. He's won it by a street.
Oh, he's won it by a street, and it could be a shutout. You wouldn't be shocked at all if it was a total shutout. He's massively dominant, and the difference was, I think, he had the willingness to want to stand there and trade. He was the one punching through the target. He was the one picking his shots. Better technician, physically stronger, better game plan. Just a better, higher level caliber all round than Chavez Jr. And that's all you can say. He's just too good, way too good in every department.
So he will move on, and the question will be, can they finally put that fight together against Gennady Golovkin? As a boxing fan, never mind as a commentator, as a fan, it's a fight I want to see, and I badly want to see.
Well, boxing's on a high right now after what happened in Wembley with Joshua and Klitschko, a great fight. Boxing's on a high right now, so we need to capitalise on that. And Golovkin and Alvarez has worldwide appeal. And with that, these sort of fights need to be made now for the sake of the sport. We keep going now. We're up there on a pedestal. Let's keep going. And that's a great fight, and it will be a good fight to watch. And Alvarez just showcased his skill, showing how technically brilliant he can be.
The acid test, the big question, is probably one for Oscar De La Hoya at some point. How much do you fancy it as his promoter? Are you prepared to risk the possibility of your biggest draw, who is this guy? Are you prepared to take the chance of him losing?
See, I think, because he lost nothing losing against Mayweather. He had a rebuild fight. He went straight back in, and now he's the biggest financial attraction, maybe, take away Joshua in world boxing. So he'll lose nothing by losing to Golovkin. If he's only a young man, they'll rebuild him within 2 fights.
I think we can get the result now.
Ladies and gentlemen, all 3 judges have the same score, 120 to 108. All to the winner by unanimous decision. De Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Saul Canelo Alvarez.
By a shutout, Canelo takes the verdict, 120 to 108. Disappointing from Chavez, but from Canelo, you have to say he was in top form, dominated right the way through.
It was indeed, John, wasn't he? That has got to be the easiest win of Alvarez's career since he first emerged at world level. But from the point of view of Chavez, Steve, quite honestly, would he be well advised to go back to Mexico after that or not?
Well, certainly not to go back with a Chavez headband on, that's for sure. Put a pair of sunglasses and a tidy little sombrero and maybe slip back in. It seems to be easy enough to cross that border before Trump builds the wall. So just slip back in before he sticks the wall up. You've got half a chance of blending in. That was one of the poorest fights I've ever seen in a big main event, one of the poorest, opponents. I mean, if you have big fights, you get knocked out in a round, it could be a competitive round. That was one of the poorest 12 rounds I've seen in a headlining act in Vegas or anywhere. There was a dreadful performance, a clueless performance. And Rich, before we blame Chavez too much, what about the corner, Paul? What the corner meant?
Yeah.
There's an experienced, expensive corner.
Exactly.
They're taking their share of the $3 million.
Great point. Brought in to extract the best out of him, so-called. Well, that didn't work either, did it?
Rubbish.
Terrible.
In terms of how he set out, Richie, did you feel after 2 or 3 minutes of this fight, whatever potential advantages he had, Chavez, he was not going to be deploying them?
Well, I said it, didn't I, right in the very first round. If I had a group of boxers who have got height and reach advantage over their opponents, I would get them and say, listen, this is how you don't fight if you've got the height and reach. Wide stance, leaning forward. You know, you've got long levers, and when you actually closing that gap down, you're not using those levers. He's getting caught, no head movement at all. But it was conceding the height and reach ball, which was the big problem. And his work rate was very, very poor.
First 6 rounds, non-existent.
He didn't throw his jab, Steve. He hardly threw a jab. He hardly threw a right hand. Look at that for a tremendous right hand from Canelo. It was a very poor performance. And I thought Canelo was going to win this fight. I said at the start, didn't I? But I didn't think he would win it so convincingly. He's had harder spars than this. Definitely. It's a very disappointing display from Chavez. In fact, I said to Steve, if I was to come in and not have seen the first few rounds, I would swear that Chavez has hurt his hand. Yeah. He's broke his hand because he's certainly not thrown enough shots.
Yeah, and I think that there was a point in about the first round and the second round. Rich and I were standing up watching it here on the big screen, and he was fighting, and we said to each other, he was fighting. Then Barry mentioned it as well. He was fighting Chavez like he knew he couldn't win. Like he knew he had absolutely no chance of winning. But the thing is, that was his 55th fight. He won a version of the world title with a couple of half-decent wins a few years ago. He fought tonight like a guy that shouldn't have been there, like a guy that didn't want to be there. And that's why you've got to wonder about that ogre at ringside, that light welterweight genius at ringside, his father. Is that the reason? We thought it was the reason he fought at the start, but that was when he was 17. He's 31 years of age, Paul. He fought tonight like a man, not scared, like a man who just did not want to be there.
I'm the first to praise a promoter like De La Hoya for some of the matchmaking that goes on there, but to a degree, you could have made a case. We did suggest it beforehand. It's never conclusive, but we did say, where is the body of work for Chavez? What has he done in his career to match up in a potential Mexican war against a man like Alvarez, who has been putting it in? And that's what happened.
It's a great point, and we said at the start, didn't we, that he just hadn't fought at that level. But I don't think even De La Hoya would have expected such a poor performance.
You thought it might
Chavez.
have brought the best out in him?
Absolutely, because this was the fight that was going to get his career back on track. He was up for it. He had the height and reach advantage. He had the tools for the job, but he just failed to deliver. And what was most disappointing for me was as that first round started, he seemed to be out of his depth very, very early in the fight. But normally, it would take 4 to 5 rounds for the fighter to be out of his depth. He'd have a go.
Exactly.
He'd have a go, but he didn't have a go.
Listen, he knew Chavez. But I tell you who really knew. Canelo knew. Yeah, that's totally. Why we've seen him fat-faced and smiling. He knew it was going to be the fight. It was. He knew that those bookies odds 4-1, 8-1 just 2 days ago were an absolute giveaway. That's why he was so dismissive at the end, with just a cursory touch. There was no passing of the Mexican baton there tonight. There was a kid who's been, I think, almost forced to fight. I know he's an adult. He makes his own decisions. He's not a kid. He's 31. And that was the end of him tonight. He cannot come back under any circumstances.
It's as if he said at the end of that round, of the 12th round, you shouldn't have been in here with me tonight. Definitely. And I've just proved it. He just tapped the glove and walked off.
He seemed to have more respect, actually, for the men who've been around a long time in the corner, who also did not do their finest night's work to get a performance out of Chavez. It just did not work for him. More reflection to come in just a moment or two. And, of course, there is still that tantalising prospect for the winner of Golovkin. And that should be pretty different to what we saw here tonight.
Let's hope so.